Hello folks, welcome to Mr. How To. Today we're going to talk about logging, how to skin a log, and what we're doing is we're going to be hewing out some logs to fix a cabin that I acquired. There's some of the logs in the cabin that are rotten and we're going to have to replace them. I've already started peeling these logs. Today we're gonna talk about some of the tools that are used on cabin building. We don't have all the tools that we would probably be using, but this is a start. Later on we will do some episodes of actually peeling the logs and hewing them out, but today we're just going to talk about the tools itself. So let's begin. This tool right here is an ADZE, ADZE. It is a straight ADZE. They make some that are curved for actually cupping the wood. This one is straight. Some people have asked me, well, where do you find the tools to do all this? And I found all of mine from antique stores, farm auctions, places like that. You can buy them brand new. There's a lot of great companies out there that make these tools brand new. But for me personally, I like the old stuff. I like taking a tool that somebody used way back in the day and kind of refurbish it and clean it up a bit and use it. Like this ADZE, I used it to peel the bigger part of this log here. The rest of the logs was used with this draw knife. When you get to the big part of the log, this draw knife doesn't work that great. The handle gets in the way of the log and it doesn't work, so you have to use this right here, the ADZE. It's also used for different things, like shaping the log. Like after you're hewing the log out, you use it to actually knock out the chunks to smooth out the log. And what I mean by that, hewing it out, is making a beam. You will actually chop down so far. You'll kind of mark this out into the beam that you want, and then you will chop down to that mark, so to speak. And you'll chop down with a broad axe, and we'll get to what a broad axe is here in a minute. But you'll chop down, you'll notch it, and you'll move over a little bit, and you'll chop down, and you just keep doing that all the way down your log. And then you can take this ADZE and knock out these chunks. You can use that, or you could use the broad axe to do that. But you'll go all the way down and knock them chunks out, and then you'll smooth it up with the ADZE. Next is the draw knife. It's used for shaping wood. Used it for mostly peeling these logs. It worked really nice. Now these logs have been sitting for about 3 months. So we were just able to get them. They were about 2.5 hours away. We weren't able to get them till about 3 months later from being when they were cut. So the bark is done dried out. It doesn't peel real nice. When you get a log, really you should be able to get underneath the bark, and it should just peel off pretty nice. You get underneath this bark here, and it should just kind of peel off pretty easy and clean. But when they get to sitting around, they kind of dry out, and then they don't peel that good. Your sap that's between the bark and the sap wood dries up, and then the bark kind of wants to stick to the sap wood. So you have to use a draw knife or adze and whittle away. So we'll show you how this works, and we'll do that in the next episode. This one here I bought at a antique store. It was in really nice condition. I didn't even have to sharpen it, really. It was already sharpened, tan forged. You can see the high carbon steel. You can see where the forge line, the forge weld line is. That's something else that I do, is I do a little blacksmithing. So we'll be doing some blacksmithing here in some later episodes. But you can see this. You can see the difference between this and this. This is two different steels. This is a real high carbon steel here. It stays sharp. It's some really good steel. This steel here is probably a springy type of steel. Something that is hard, but yet is springy. It will actually give a little bit. It's not going to be brittle. It's not going to snap off. This is a really nice draw knife. You hold on to it by the handles and you pull it along. We'll show you that later on. This adze here I got at a antique store. It had the handle in it. The handle was a little loose, so I tightened it up, cleaned up the edge a bit, got it sharp again. It's really nice. I could clean this up more, but I just kind of like it the way it is. It's antique-y looking. It serves its purpose, But next we have the Froe. It is called a Froe. This Froe did not have a handle in it. I put a handle in it. A Froe is used to make shanks, and what shanks are shingles, wooden shingles. How they do that is they'll take a log and they'll block it up to about the length of the shingle that they want. And what I mean by block it up is they'll saw blocks, and then they'll take and split it. They'll split the block. I am not 100% sure the best way as far as where you need to split it to get to start splitting shingles, but That's something that I'm going to learn also. The cabin that I am getting has got a tin roof on it. It's just old, like barn tin, corrugated tin. That's probably what I will keep on it. But if I was to put a wood shank roof on it, that's what I would use this. And basically the way they do that is they set it up right, the block, and they put their fro in there like that, and then they'll have a block of wood, like a wooden mallet, and they'll beat the edge of this fro to actually go down through the block and split it. Of course, your block's not going to be that big. It's only going to be as wide as this fro. The block will be, you know, only so wide, because the end of this has to stick out past your block, so you can hit down through, you can hit the edge and go through your block of wood. And to create your shingles, your shanks. So you'll run it through, and then you'll move over, you'll run it through, move over, run it through. That's something that we'll probably do just to try it. I know some fellas that are real knowledgeable about how they used to do that, and we're gonna do a video on making wooden shingles, wooden shanks. So, but yeah, I got this at an antique store. I cleaned it up a bit. The cutting edge was not sharp at all. It was beat up, so I resharpened it and put a handle in it. It's a really nice piece. Next, we have a broad axe. The broad axe is used, like I said, about notching the log. What they would do is they would notch the log down to where they want it to make the surface of the beam. They'd chop down, make a notch all the way down to where the surface of the beam, and they would move over, notch, move over, notch, and just do that all the way down the beam. And then they'd come back. If you look at this broad head, it's flat. It's flat on one side, and you turn it over and it's actually dished, and the cutting edge on the other side. If you look like this, you can see that. You can see one side is dished, one side is flat. And they did that because after they notch it, if they didn't use the adze axe, they would use the broad axe, and they would wherever that notch went down to, they would knock that chunk of wood out, and then they just run this down through there and knock them chunks out, and then they could clean it up with the adze. They could go back and trim it and clean up their edge down through there. I bought this at a farm auction. It went fairly cheap. I don't really remember how much I paid for it. The corner is broke off, which is no big deal. It could still be very usable. Cutting edge needs a little attention, and I need a handle for it. But we're gonna maybe try to use that and get a handle in it, and show you how that works, and how they used to hand hew beams out. We'll get back on that later. Here is another draw knife. It's a smaller one. It's more modern. It's not as old. It was probably, I would say this was a factory made draw knife. The cutting edge is pretty sharp, but it's thick. It's got a thick edge to it. I don't know if you can see that. It's not tapered back really thin. It works, but this is probably used more for like doing some furniture work or something like that. I'm not for sure. If I had my pick between this one and that one, I would use that one. The cutting edge on this one is a lot thinner. It's the bevel part of it anyways, but it slices through this bark and the wood really nice. This one here was probably hand forged by a blacksmith. Somebody made it for somebody, or somebody needed a draw knife and had a blacksmith make it. I would pick that one over this store-bought one any day of the week. This one was actually my great uncle's. He gave to me. It's a Shapley's draw knife. That used to be an old company out of St. Louis, Missouri. It still works okay. It works all right, but if I was to pick, I'd pick the other one. Here's a split maul. This is not what we'll be using for this project, but it's just something I come across. You know, I came across the split maul head, and it was pretty nasty. It was all rusted up. It was pretty bad shape, but I ground it down and put an edge on it. I use it to split some blocks for firewood. It didn't have a handle in it, so I took a hickory limb and made a handle, and it works great. It works really good. But that I found somebody just had it left laying in a barn somewhere that was getting tore down, and nobody wanted it. So I thought, well, why not get it and use it? It'll work out fine. Just needs a little TLC, and I use it quite a bit actually. But yeah, these tools here, these are tools that were used, you know, years and years ago. I mean, they made houses and cabins and barns and whatever else, you know, that they wanted to build back in the day. And it's just kind of neat. Like I said, you can buy all this stuff. You can buy all this stuff brand new. There's a lot of great companies out there that make good products, you know, but it's just something about taking a piece of old history and using it, you know. It's no telling who used that or what they built with it, you know. It's really neat. I think I paid like 12 bucks for this draw knife, antique store. Man, it's just, it works really well. And that fro, I did do a little bit of splitting on some blocks with it, and it works good. And we'll have to show you how that works. Like I said, I don't know. You know, I know you want your heartwood to make shingles, but I'm not 100% sure how they split that. They split that up into chunks to make the shingles, you know, make them shanks. And I just played around with it on a block of wood. It's neat. It's really neat how they do that. A lot of time making wooden shanks. But yeah, this is it. Me and my kids, we got down here and peeled on these logs, and you know, you can only go so far. You need to turn them a little bit and peel some more, but we'll do that on the next episode, and show how to peel logs and get them ready for hewing out. And we'll show that also. I am going to cheat a little when I goes to hewing these out. We'll be using a chainsaw instead of the broad axe. Instead of chopping down into the wood all the way down, we're going to use a chainsaw and saw down so far, all the way down, and then we'll come back with either the broad axe or the adze and knock them chunks out and smooth them up. It'll save a little time, but we'll still get that hand-hewn look to it that we're needing for our cabin. So thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you liked it. If you would, please like and subscribe to Mr. How To. We're going to do some more videos. I know my video recording skills are not that great, but we're gonna try to get better at it and get through this. Yeah, just like and subscribe, and like I said, we'll be doing some blacksmithing, showing you how to maybe make some knives and other things, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be real fun. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you guys.